There's been a considerable shift of change when it comes to kind of talent coming through in the market. So for example, in financial services at the moment, historically maybe 25% of our appointments in 2017 would have been expats returning, and that's probably increasing ever so slightly. So probably anywhere between 30-35% of our roles placed in financial services, in particular in the banking sectors, investment banking and the asset management arms of businesses, where there's a skill set shortage because we don't actually have that product line or jurisdictional exposure in the domestic markets here. We need to insource it elsewhere. Equally, businesses at the moment, there's a lot more activity across M&A and expansion plans and export of kind of product. So they're looking for candidates with a lot more international markets experience, so typically across emerging markets, the US space, or kind of wider pan-European experience. So in an industry sector, possibly when you look back in 2018, probably 1 in 6 of our appointments were candidates that we selected or were able to find from elsewhere outside the Irish market and needed to for those roles. So a typical remuneration package for an Irish executive nowadays, it really varies so dramatically across sectors and specialisms. It ranges anywhere from 120 right up to 600,000. You know, it really depends, as I said, on so many factors. If we just concentrate maybe on kind of director levels, where you know we see a lot more of the volume and attrition in the market naturally, salary scales really vary from anywhere between say the 120,000-130,000 mark right up to 180,000 as a base salary. So on top of that then typically executives would earn as well discretionary target bonuses, and they typically range anywhere from 25 to 60% as an average. And what we see more and more in particular with kind of listed companies or pre-IPO organisations, or organisations where they just want to retain senior talent and make sure they avoid any competitors taking them. The introduction of more and more LTIPs, so long-term incentive plans, and they can be cash or equity-based LTIPs. So there's a lot more kind of incentive put on the variable now to make sure they reward, I suppose, high performers, top performers in the executive space. We envisage Brexit having a number of ripple effects, I suppose most notably on the recruitment space. If Ireland is identified as either kind of an enhanced subsidiary establishment or a European hub, naturally there's a lot more investment into its people, into hub build-outs, etc. So budgets are going to be pretty much expanded and need to be expanded. I think any business looking to expand, whether it's organic or through kind of strategic acquisition growth, I suppose it's really making sure there's time set aside, timely preparation, you know, from everything from, you know, the establishment of the new locations